I tell you what, this situational hitting really is just lousy. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Phillies Answer Video. Today we're recapping this afternoon's game between the Phillies and the San Diego Padres as the Phillies lose 2-0 to the Padres. As every single game of the series was a shutout as the Phillies lose the series to the Padres. And I guess before getting into this video, please subscribe if you haven't yet. Please engage the bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and let's get into this. This video is also brought to you by All Things Phillies. All Things Phillies are tied to daily video highlights from the game. So please go and subscribe to his channel. Link in the description section. So this definitely was a tough one for the Phillies this afternoon. We now lost this series as the offense was completely silent. I mean, it's amazing. It's just amazing to me that we collect 8 hits as a team this afternoon. But it's amazing. They were kind of just meaningless hits, and they didn't really string together. But we had first and third, 1 out, and I was at the Game of Phillies updates. Dylan Power, and I said to him, I'm like, you know what, Schwarber's going to strike out, and then Castellanos will not do anything, and sure enough, Schwarber struck out, and then Castellanos grounded out to second. So I predicted it. I predicted it. I called it because you know why? Because it doesn't take a mad scientist to predict what this Phillies team will do. It is just so predictable. You go back and take a look at years past. This Phillies team does the same thing over and over and over again. So it's really not that much of a surprise. So this Phillies team gets shut out again. So it's amazing. Every single game of this 3-game series is a shutout. Of course, the Padres won the game 1 in a shutout. The Phillies won game 2 in a shutout. And then the Padres won the series by winning the final game of the series in a shutout victory of 2-0. So I find that kind of interesting. Kyle Gibson, Greg Murphy getting a great point in the post game on 94 WIP. It seems like there's just that one moment of the ball game where he just completely loses it. And I've tried to kind of come up with words for that in the past, and honestly, that's a perfect way to put it. Kyle Gibson just kind of runs into that spot where he just completely and utterly falls apart. And his stuff just doesn't look very good. As we pick up the scoring summary here in the top of the 4th inning, wasn't much of a scoring summary as Robinson Cano singles on a sharp line drive to right field. Jerickson Profar comes around to scores. It's now 1-0 San Diego here in the 4th. So you're going to let this washed up Robinson Cano, who's in his upper 30s, come back and beat you. I mean, come on. This is a guy that got cut by the Mets. And he signs this deal with the San Diego Padres because he wants to keep playing, and you're going to let this guy beat you. So this is not 2013 anymore, ladies and gentlemen. Robinson Cano is no. This is here in 2022, 9 years later. You know what? It's very, very unfortunate. He always seems to kill us. Robinson Cano always seems to have our number. And I'm just kind of doing that situation, first and third. I said to Dylan, I'm like, he's going to do something. I guarantee he's going to, hit a single. He's going to double, do something. Well, sure enough, he singles on that line, trying to right. I pick it up here in the same inning. Hasu Kim hits a sacrifice fly out to left field. Not a very good throw out there by Kyle Schwarber. And Will Myers comes around to score. And it's now a 2-0 Phillies. I think if that ball had a little bit more zip on it, I think maybe they could have got it. Unfortunately, Kyle Schwarber just couldn't get the job done. And we've seen him in years past where he does really look good with the arm, right? I remember we're going against the Washington Nationals last year, probably right around this time. I think we're probably past that point now. But anyway, I remember we're going against the Nationals last year. I mean, Bryce Harper, hits a nice line drive single at the left field, and he's able to throw out. I forget who was at home plate. But anyway, we just know what Kyle Schwarber does at times show off his arm. And unfortunately, he just couldn't do it right. There's Will Myers is able to beat the throw. So 2-0 Padres, and that would be your final as the Phillies lose the series to the San Diego Padres team. And honestly, your Darvish just really shut us down. But you were able to collect 8 hits, but they were kind of just meaningless hits. They didn't really mean anything. So it's just kind of weird. You couldn't really string a lot of hits together at one time. It just was kind of sporadic. It was just kind of sporadic. They were kind of spread out. And, when we did have ducks on the pond, runners in scoring position, we failed to capitalize like we always do. We failed to capitalize as we always do. As Nick Castellanos was definitely really cooling off. Kyle Schwarber, that nice single up the middle. But other than that, not much out of this Phillies offense. Not much out of this Phillies offense as we take a look at Rhys Hoskins out of the leadoff spot collecting 2 knocks this afternoon. So he definitely had a good afternoon. And Alec Bohm also collects a knock. As you know, he did go hitless last night. He was able to collect a knock here this afternoon. And Kyle Schwarber, as I talked about, that single up the middle. So hopefully he starts to get it going. I mean, he just pops the ball up so much. We talked about it last night in the recap there. He just loves to pop the ball up, and it's just because he's uppercutting. He's trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark too much. Instead of just having a simple approach to the game, he is trying to just do too much, and it's just not working. It's just clearly not working, especially when the guy's hitting 189. His OPS still sits at 718. Nick Castellanos with a hitless performance this afternoon. Average now drops to 271. You want to see something that's very, very interesting. Nick Castellanos a 778 OPS, so his OPS is 70 points higher than Kyle Schwarber, and he's hitting 82 points higher than Kyle Schwarber. So that's very, very interesting. As I talked about, if this Kyle Schwarber could just hit around 250, imagine what that OPS would be. Imagine. In the 900s for sure. I mean, so just imagine that for a second. Jake Chimucha, after he got that RBI single last night, gets to start in DH, gets a day off behind the plate, and of course he goes hitless, as he does absolutely nothing as always. His average now drops to 230, and his OPS now drops to 617. AJ Chimucha has a 617 OPS. How disgraceful. How disgraceful. This is just like embarrassing. I mean, he's really, really falling off. And I talked about it with Dylan today. I said, you know what, it's amazing with JT, and I really hope this isn't the case, but I think this point needs to be brought up. So we give him this 5-year contract. Is it just me? Or did he seem to kind of get content after he got that contract? Playing for the contract. And once you do get that contract, he seemed to kind of take the foot off the gas. And that's just what I gather, right? That's just what I gather. I could be wrong, but that's kind of the sense that I get from the whole situation. It seems like when he finally got his money, when he finally got that contract, he seemed to kind of get content. That's why I had a little worry about Manny Machado. That's why I heavily prefer Bryce Harper, not just because of the star power, not just because of all the marketing value, if you forget that for a second, but also because Bryce Harper just goes out there and plays the game right every single day. I mean, and of course Manny Machado, I really, really do like Manny Machado. I didn't like him for a while, but I've really, really grown to like him. Manny Machado is one of my favorite players in the game, just a true superstar for sure. I really, really like him a lot. I know I've really been hard on him in the past, but I really do like him. I've really grown to like Manny Machado because he's a good all-around baseball player, and he's having an MVP year so far this year. But anyway, that's my point. I mean, I'm a little bit concerned with JT that he started to kind of just get content. Hey, I mean, he doesn't have to worry. I mean, he's going out there hitting 320, and he's hitting the ball to the ballpark. He has like 7 home runs. He's hitting like 326. He has like an 836 OPS. He's driving into the ballpark. I mean, that's a little high for JT. I mean, probably let's say the 775. Driving into the ballpark, kind of feeling good. I mean, it doesn't matter for him because he's still getting the same day. I'm not saying that he wants to fail. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just saying that there's not as much incentive. So I think that's definitely a point you can bring up for JT. No question about it. Joe Burry gets to start out in center, collects and knock. Johan Camargo gets to start at second as Gene Segura was feeling ill prior to the game as he did not play. But he did come into the ballgame later and pinch hit. I mean, that was a great at-bat. Even though he did strike out at the end of the ballgame looking on that slider, he was battling, he was fighting off pitches, he was staying in the AB. And I can respect that. One heck of a fight out of Gene Segura right there. I mean, I really give him credit for that. I mean, that was one heck of a fight. I really do give him credit, though. But Garrett Stubbs gets to start behind the plate, and he clicks the max. So let me just be clear. I understand he's gotten not nearly as much as the playing time as GT, which goes without saying. But Garrett Stubbs hitting 348 with a 922 OPS. I mean, that's pretty darn good out of your backup catcher, am I right? Especially when Andrew Knapp just got DFA'd by the Pirates in elected free agency. I mean, when you get DFA'd by one of the worst teams in baseball, that really does say something, does it not? So Andrew Knapp, I mean, not only was he DFA'd, but he was DFA'd by one of the worst teams in baseball in the Pittsburgh Pirates. So he got cut by the Reds, and now he just got cut by the Pirates. I mean, I hate to see that out of a guy like Andrew Knapp, I think is a classy man, but he's just not good, man. I mean, both sides of the plate, he can't hit the baseball, he can't block. All he could do was just have a good chemistry with Zach Eflin, and that was pretty much the end of the story for him. And Bryson Stott finally likes a hit. He singles to right field. So everybody stood up and clapped for him. My goodness gracious, he needed that one. Hopefully that gets him going. That really much goes without saying. As you can take a look at Kyle Gibson, start 5 2/3, 8 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, no walks, and 7 strikeouts. So as I talked about at the beginning, it always seems like with Kyle Gibson, there's just that one part of the game where he just doesn't look good, and he kind of just falls apart. And that was the time of the 4th inning. Other than that, he was pretty solid. Definitely allowed a lot of hits today. And this guy's a contact pitcher. He's a pitch-to-contact kind of out guy. So that's one thing you expect out of Kyle Gibson. 7 strikeouts, I mean, that's pretty darn good for a pitch-to-contact out guy, but he got no run support. So I do not blame Kyle Gibson for this loss. I do not. I mean, he should have gotten more run support. He absolutely 100% legit should have gotten more run support. It's just very disappointing. Our starting pitching just really hasn't gotten a lot of run support this year. I mean, our starting pitching, I've been very impressed with our starting pitching so far this year, but this offense is just so inconsistent. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Sandy Dominguez with a solid inning coming in there in that 6th inning, and then he got taken out in the 7th with 2 outs as he allowed that single to Hosmer. 2 hits allowed by him, and Brad Hand, 3rd inning, is able to get out of that 7th inning, and that was all we saw out of Brad Hand. Angelo with a solid top of the 8th inning, walking 1, striking out 1, and Connor Brogdon came in at the top of the 9th inning as he had a solid 2 strikeouts. I mean, he's looked very, very good there. Unfortunately, that was not enough as the Phillies lose 2-0. This offense needs to be more consistent. Honestly, it's amazing. As I talked about, we collect 8 hits today, but the problem was the hits are all scattered out. They were all scattered out. They were not, we really needed that big hit. When we really, really needed something, it just didn't show up. And that was kind of the thing today. I mean, we really, really needed a big hit. It just wasn't there. And that's the thing that just really, really bothered me. 1st and 3rd, 1 out. I'm not making this up. I understand the hindsight is 2020. I mean, I was just confident. I was confident. I said, when Kyle Schwarber's Wonka musical was playing, when he was walking up to the plate, I said to Dylan, I said, he's going to strike out, and Nick Castellanos is going to do something, like a fly out or ground out. And sure enough, Kyle Schwarber struck out, and Nick Castellanos grounded out to 2nd. So, I mean, it just can't get any more Phillies. And Nick Castellanos had another opportunity later in the ballgame. Rush on the pond, he could have made something happen, and he failed to capitalize once again. So that is extremely disappointing. When we really needed Nick Castellanos, he just wasn't there, and it's really, really hard to not have that reigning NL MVP in the lineup. It just stings, man. It just stings. There's not an energy. You don't feel it. I mean, even him not having him out in right field. I mean, even since he hasn't been out there, he hasn't seen that fella. It's just like watching a movie, watching this guy play every day. And we just feel so restricted with Harper right now. It's really, really a shame, especially for the diehard Harper fans like me. He's out of the lamp again today. Listen, I mean, the team doctors are making this call probably, and I do not blame Joe Girardi for being overly cautious. I understand I did criticize him in the past. But this is probably above him. This guy's the reigning NL MVP, and you know what? The production he's going to give you is just unbelievable. It's just lethal. And the last thing you need is him out for an extended period of time. That is the last thing we need. So you're clearly playing with fire. So that UCL is not something to mess around with. I don't think we understand the seriousness of this situation. So we don't see what goes on behind the scenes, and maybe it is his call, maybe it's not. It's probably not. It's probably above him. The doctors are probably telling him what to do. So it's not just Joe Girardi. I guarantee you that. It's not just Joe Girardi. So it was nice to see Bryson Stott finally collected a knock this afternoon. Kyle Schwarber just needs to stop uppercutting so much. The home runs are going to come. It's a shame to see Nick Castellanos cool off. But is it just me? Has this offense been better on the road so far this year? I don't think I'm wrong. I do not think I am wrong. I mean, the West Coast road trip, the offense was on fire. And we return home, we got shut out the first game, 3 runs last night, and none this afternoon. And I don't think things are going to be getting any easier with who's coming to town this weekend. As the Los Angeles Dodgers come to town 7-5 the first pitch tomorrow night. Julio Urias 2-3 ERA going against Ranger Suarez 4-1 with a 3.72 ERA, 6.05. Saturday to be determined for LA. Aaron Nola 1-4 with a 3.64 ERA and 1.35 Sunday. Tony Gonsolin 4-0 with a 1.64 ERA going against Zach Eflin 1-3 with a 3.90 ERA. So this is definitely going to be a tough series. Unfortunately, the Mets walked it all up. Pete Alonso with a 2-run shot, but Max Scherzer goes on the 10-day IL with that oblique. I don't know if you did hear about that. As he did leave the game last night. He's landed himself on the IL. So the Mets have another pitcher on the IL. So I don't like to see any injuries. I just don't. But this does give the Phillies a little chance to catch up. But I don't care. I mean, I do not like to see anybody get hurt. I don't wish any injuries on anybody. It's a shame, but hopefully the Phillies maybe could use this to their advantage a little bit. But again, I mean, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's, someone I don't like and someone I do like. I just don't want to see anybody get hurt. I just don't. And I've always been a Scherzer fan. I've always liked him, and it is kind of hard to see him in the orange and blue, though. So, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Please join the guys bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Check out the social media, link description section at Phillies Social Media, Instagram. Follow me on Twitter at PGotSoMedia. Card text 267-225-392. Email me, PhilliesNationalMedia@gmail.com. So 7-5 the first pitch tomorrow night. Julio Urias going against Ranger Suarez. I'm Luke, and I'll talk to you later. Bounce back. Pathetic. I'll see you guys.